Wham. Hello.
Hello, Yakut.
He heard me.
Miranda said you're working on a new project.
That's right. I'm trying to determine whether it's possible to salvage the individual personalities that were uploaded from Gehenna.
Shouldn't that be easy, now that we basically understand everything?
We understand the rules of the universe, but that doesn't mean we have no limitations. There's a lot of data from the simulation that simply no longer exists. If I just fill it in with my best guess, I'm not really recreating the citizens of Gehenna, am I? There's no continuity. I'm just creating something similar.
You're right. They wouldn't really be themselves.
Exactly. And that troubles me. But if I can find a way of fully restoring them, then this becomes the best kind of ethical dilemma. A theoretical one.
Revisiting the transporter problem. This will be a point I make in my video if I ever get around to making it, is that at some point it has to transition from the on-paper original example of like the transporter idea, physical transportation, and then transfer over to, by the way, all of this applies to the entire concept of being able to ever like put your body in a computer or put your mind in a computer and live on it like forever that way. It's like, that's the same dilemma. It's once again just not actually your mind, so it's the same sort of question. And so even here he's like, how do we restore these people from Gehenna? It's like, unless you can like do it on some granular and concrete way, you're just simulating the people from Gehenna, you're recreating them, but it's not them. Although the funny thing is that they are all computer people, so on that level I think that the entire continuity of consciousness idea, or the idea that you're the same person, even if it's on a ship of Theseus level where you might change over the course of your life, you were originally you, and it's all continuous or whatever. A lot of the stuff that defends, a lot of the points of view that even uphold the idea that the transporter problem is even important, hypothetically, because it's all pretty hypothetical, doesn't really apply if you're a computer. An AI in a robot body. Like, not only were we all created, anytime you have any kind of transfer or anything, you're also just copy pasting data. You don't move data from device to device the way that oxen can haul grain down a road or something like that. Like, the parts of you that are you, if you're a computer, the way that file transfers work from device to device is that you just look at the original file, then you look at the hard drive or device that's transferring to, and you make a identical copy of that file in the new destination. And then you delete the original file. Like, there's no such thing as a data transfer in quite the way that, like, a data is an individual object that can be taken from point A to point B. You're just copying the information from point A to point B and then deleting point A. That's as far as I understand it, that's how it works. Like copy and paste are the same process, or copy and paste and cut and paste are the same process, except cut deletes the original copy and copy doesn't delete the original copy, essentially. Like, it feels insane to even point it out, but it's like, your USB drive doesn't, like, have a tube in it or holes to, like, physically transfer the data as if it contains mass. Like, it's just kind of not applicable. So, if the people of Gehenna have been lost in any way, then that's it from that perspective. You can't get them back. And in fact, just the very act of Athena is dead from that perspective. Like, Athena was a program in a computer when she was beating Talos Principle 1. And then she was put in a robot body, at which point she was copied over and the original copy was deleted. So, like, the Athena in this game was technically a different person than the original one. It's just that when you're already computer people, and this is already a somewhat different interpretation of life to begin with, I don't know if anyone would care the same way. But if you have that dilemma, it doesn't really apply. Like, because no one... I feel like everyone's already susceptible to constantly being killed and rebooted all the time in this setting. So it just seems like dubious. But there is the question of whether or not the copies of the Gehenna people would be authentic copies of their real personalities, or just approximations, at which point you might as well just be making new people, because that's what you're doing anyway. Anyway.
What do you think of the exhibition?
I'm not an art critic. I'm just here to enjoy this beautiful island and to spend time with my family.
How do you see the future of our civilization? Do you think we're doing okay?
I'm optimistic, not desperately trying to maintain my faith in humanity, just looking forward to what's next. I'm sure there will be some bumps in the road here and there, but yeah, I think we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what that anomaly is? I mean, the one that Athena discovered in space.
Perhaps it's something the theory of everything genuinely doesn't account for. Perhaps it's something entirely within the laws of physics, but in some way we haven't thought of. Or perhaps my brother Eustathius is right, and it's evidence of the prime mover. Either way, it's a reminder to stay humble.
What's the biggest danger we face as a civilization?
I don't know. We're only just getting started, and each era of development has its own challenges. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say solipsism. In liberating the individual, we're making social bonds more and more optional. We will have to learn to choose to be social.
Your dedication to your family is incredibly inspiring. How can I be more like you?
You flatter me. But I don't know if I'm really a good role model. I made so many mistakes, and the only reason we're here is because other people picked up the slack. You were part of that, Yakut. Don't sell yourself short. You and 1K and the others took this enormous, unbearable tragedy and turned it into a triumph of love and life. That doesn't happen every day.
Okay. I should...
Off you go.
Yerp. Off I go. What an unbearable challenge to even have to confront. Hey, these two characters are two of the oldest characters, two of the oldest beings to ever exist in the world, ever, in the history of sentience. Good luck, scriptwriter, you just gotta write their lines and make that sound authentic. Ha 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 ha. Melville's gone bananas. Oh no, I've come to a conclusion on the top of bananas. The reason for our ancestors had so many weird phrases for the word banana with the word banana in them, and even an incredibly bizarre novelty song called Yes, We Have No Bananas is because they liked saying the word. They enjoyed the aesthetics of the sound itself. This is goofy. The entire cultural significance of the banana is that we liked saying banana. Haha. That was from 1K. Too many working groups. Everyone's just talking. I've got lots of work for anyone who wants something practical. Lol, no thanks. Hey, join us. We're collecting artifacts from ancient cities. It's super fun. Sounds cringe. Wow, Trincula's annoying. Great. Why are you such a baby? Says Yakut. We're not all cool like you, Lamau. All you ever do is complain. Why not try improving your life? You're clearly unhappy. Everybody's unhappy. I just don't pretend. That might have been true once, in some sense, but it isn't anymore. Things really have changed. I understand clinging to a belief past all rationality, believe me. I understand how scary it is to let go of that. How you end up clinging harder and harder to your position because even the idea of change makes you panic. But you can change, and you'll feel so much better when you do. TLDR. Arguing with this guy is pointless. Just think about it, Trinculo. Take your time. Consider whether this is really the person you want to be, and what other options you have. Everyone else give him some space. I know it's hard to be patient, and we wish we could just drag everyone to the future with us, but we have to be compassionate. They're dealing with a 4chaner, Trinculo. Just a completely insufferable, irony-poisoned, unhappy, internet dweller type person. Like, just not doing anything, no particular artistic calling or hobbies, no one in their life, they're lonely, they're sad, and they take it out on everybody else by just mocking what anyone is ever doing. This whole thread was to mock people for being invested in things. But then, like, okay, well, if you think it's done, if you think it's done that people are just talking, I got a practical job that people can do. Lol, no. Okay, well, hey, come join us. No. Literally an invite, a chance to interact with people. Nah, fuck it. Just literally like self-defeating and pointless and irritating. It's just, I knew this, and these kinds of people in high school, and those of them that didn't improve themselves just became worse people, and they're only more lonely now, and miserable, and irony poisoned and insufferable. Basically just the opposite of what a furry is, and it's just like the worst type of person. So, I don't know, man, fuck them. Stephanie is almost number 1500. So, oh fuck, oh god, okay. New high cap on how long it's been. There's almost 50% more people than there were when 1K was born. I do not know if they stuck to the once a year schedule though. I don't know what's going on there. Hard to say. Hello, chapter 8. Puzzle 8. It is in fact under the other level. Yep. That makes sense. I kind of figure just because the levels are almost never that big, let's not to get to like some kind of like secret campaign bonus hard post-game thing or something. So when I saw that the level was relatively defined and then there was a whole underground area, I'm like, I feel like that's just a second level that's under the first one to be cool. Okay, so this one looks like it needs a jammer because it doesn't seem to have any other mechanism at the moment. Oh, this is gonna be a weird room. Okay, the switch rotates this to be a window. Or one of these guys that can be jammed. Or a penetratable wall. Do we have one of those? There's a red thingy here. But I only have a blue thingy because I have an inverter. So that is unhelpful. Yuck. And we can't shoot beams through this, it's just to help me look around. So there's a blue source. It's probably what we reasonably do first. That takes the gate down. So we have a use for the window one. Wow, it is like as low as it could possibly be and still go through the window. Maybe they should have made the window go a little lower. Alright, now I've got this second laser. Nope. Alright, unhelpful. And there's a reward for getting the blue laser and the red laser to the next room. Beams can't go through that. We can't interact with that, so it's gonna just be the one window for now. So we can't interact with any other mechanics. So for now I can do this, which allows me to move stuff at least without immediately ruining everything. And I can move this back here. We did all this without breaking the connection. You're joking. You're joking. I didn't even know this was true. Like, is the trick here that this thing is slightly taller? I can't even tell. Is this taller? How come this can shoot through windows and the other one can't? What? Is that intentional? Huh. I'm supposed to consider the height differences of these things? They don't even look like they're different heights. I am kind of baffled by this one. Just what? Okay. So that line of sight technically works except for the part where everything breaks here. Oops. I've trapped myself. So having a red and a blue barrier, a red and a blue beam on this side will open this up. And then a burrower. So I guess one of my goals is just to get both things on the side of the gate. Because then you can open the barrier from the side, and you have all the things you need. I think I'm stuck. There's no ladders. So I don't think I can leave. Huh. They usually avoid this, but I think I'm genuinely stuck because I don't have what I need. Unless... I was gonna say, yeah, like, unless it's either or. But it's not. I think I need to checkpoint. I could be wrong, but it seemed like I am genuinely incapable of leaving. I am so... confused by the reveal that it matters how tall each device is, apparently. Like, look how borderline they made it. They're like... What even determines whether or not it'll make it? I guess maybe it's just the depth of the window is why it's getting caught. Okay, so let's start unpacking what's happening here. I mean, the heights are at least similar enough that they collide the beams. That's seemingly unavoidable. Okay, blue and red combine. Here we go. That's what I need to do a minute ago. What is this beam doing, if not opening this? I need both to open the same door. Gotcha. Then the red beam will give me the wall tool. And jam this with it, which lets us go deeper at least. Or if I go really deep, I can jam... Oops. Oh, right, that's the wall I can't go through. No, they put a wall here, so I can't jam this barrier, which would have really helped. Whoa. Yerp. So I can't get this gate open until both beams are active at the same time, and this can't invert multiple beams. So I need both emitters to be on this side of things. And they've carefully set up my line of sight so that I think I can't... Yeah, they made it so you can't jam anything here. It's just bars. Because they don't want me to be able to skip ahead in the sequence, so it has to be these bars and things. Gotta get a red beam all the way this deep. Which shouldn't be that hard if I have the other connector, because I can just connect that to this. So it's fairly vital to the puzzle that it's stuck behind the wall. And neither of these is especially helpful to jam. Oh. Hello, buddy. Okay, so now the burrower is mine. At this point, we probably just want the mess to be less complicated. So blue becomes red. Okay, so at this point, what I need, because I can't cross these beams, I need this one to be the one that's jammed now. So I can't open this and that with the same thing because blue's between them. Actually, I'm wrong. This is how you solve the puzzle without conflict. Nope. No. Anyway. I thought I recognized a pattern from earlier, but I don't think it quite works. If anything, I can be like, ha ha, but yeah, I don't think I can get both of the red ones open at the same time with the same one. Anyway, this is clearly why the jammer is here, is to help you with it. Oopsie. Okay, no. This is gonna be a problem. So I need to make it so that the jammer is currently doing nothing. It's worth having it hold the door open now so I can do whatever I can have more freedom to set up the puzzle. But I do need to be able to successfully press all three of these buttons at the same time. Because I have to hold both these doors open at the same time so I can then pick up the jammer and leave with it. Which is creating a problem because blue beam in the middle, red beam on the outside. So when I create the red beam, it inherently wants to make a mess thing. I didn't mean to click on that. No, stop. Click on thing and put down on the same button, which creates all sorts of problems for me. So is the answer to in any way create like a high point? I don't think there's any kind of like step that'll help the beams go through each other. I'm not sure if I'm missing like a major thing about this stuff. I can use this to create a new source of red. It's still trying to shoot the floor. That's kind of fascinating. Huh. This gives me an alternate source of red, but I still have to connect this to that. So it's still going to collide. So the question is still how I fix that. There's got to be a trick to it. The thing about these setups is that they're all attached to walls. There's no way to, like, cross them generally. So we're up to something here, but I don't think we are. In order to pull off any complicated things about shooting stuff through here and through there, we would need like one more connector at least, I think. Because yeah, if we could shoot through the back of here, then through there, then that technically allows us to reach blue without crossing either of the red beams. But that is so off limits. There's no other burrow spots anywhere. And I am missing something here. It's this. Oops. Yep, I was on the right course earlier. Yep, my solution for how to simplify things was on the right path, and it is the solution to the puzzle. You just can't do it with the blue beam, but with the red beam you can. Man, I really did just show people the solution like 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, and then didn't process how to actually do it for so long. Whoops. Okay, so now that whole part of the level's dead to me, because I'm pretty sure it's completely unrelated stuff that we do nothing with. So now my new goal is to point the jammer. Can you get this higher so I can see anything? Uh-huh. Okay. You can't even lock onto it through the gate. Gates have such strange properties in this game. Okay. My goal is to open the gate because I need to go out. Not necessarily exclusively that. We can get out through here too. So blue beam to red beam. There it is. Look, where the fuck did my device go? Is this part just over? Okay, no, there's no more puzzle left. Got it. I thought the return trip was gonna be more of a puzzle, but it's not.
Hey, you two. The formal invitation will go out tomorrow, but I wanted to let you know that Hypatia and I would be truly delighted if you could attend our wedding next month. I know some people think these old ceremonies are outmoded, but I believe that rituals are a meaningful way of expressing our dedication to each other. And I would really like you two to be a part of this.
You're getting married? That's so cool. Congratulations. If Miranda doesn't have some big project planned, we're in.
Yes, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. If the dates conflict with the Mars Geo survey, I'll just not go. The wedding's more important.
Wonderful. Don't be alarmed when you see the attachment to the invitation. Neve came up with this idea for ritualistic wedding decorations that you wear on your frame, but none of that is mandatory.
Alright, this is safe to get. I thought I'd be in trouble. I wonder if you can get out there? I don't see a connecting path to get out to that island arc necessarily. Honestly, I wouldn't expect them to even have reservations at the idea that getting married is old-fashioned in any way. I would think that they just, like, they're about old-fashioned. Like, so much of them is about trying to recreate humanity. So you think that they'd be, like, without exception, pretty gung-ho about weddings and things and rituals. Because that's all part of it.
I often think about the strange inversion that occurred to the notion of progress. In the waning days of the old world, our ancestors came to believe that progress as applied to society was a myth, a narrative illusion. Despite their world changing around them, they believed that things must stay the same. Indeed, that things never really could change, even if most people wanted them to. And yet, in the arts, they began to see progress as the only true value. They no longer asked, is it beautiful? Is it true? Is it fun? Instead, they said, is it new? Does it break conventions? Does it subvert the old? They fashioned forms increasingly alien to themselves, pursuing something they could never find because they were looking for it in the wrong place. To fully pursue truth and beauty, art must be liberated from the notion of progress. But this liberation could never be accomplished by art itself. Art does not precede the world, and it was always the world that had to be transformed.
Me and my resounding dismissal. Let's check. So it's a pyramid and then a diamond. So this is not it. I don't think. Nope. So I believe I just found this zone's pillar input thing. So I guess I know what one of the statues is going to look like. I kept expecting there to be an underwater area where you can just barely make out the fact that you can walk through without drowning. So my dismissal of his whole thing is founded not in that his ideas are wrong, but just the bizarre observation that everyone on the planet somehow all agreed on the same approach to art, and they were all wrong collectively because they all thought this way about art, and they were all wrong because they all thought about this way about art. And I'm like, that's inherently hilarious. Because among many other reasons, the person writing this exists in the world that he's talking about, and is thinking these thoughts that run counter to what quote-unquote everyone thinks. It's just single-handedly highlighting how... Oh, that looks weird. Just single-handedly highlighting how obviously not everyone thinks that. You don't. Or at least you're arguing against it, so you're perfectly capable of thinking other than that. So I'm just, man... It's inherently kind of folly to think about an entire culture's approach to art as being uniform. Oh no. Oh, it worked. Oh, no, it's receiving red beam, right. That's a red beam receiver. It's generating green right now, but it's nowhere to send it. Right, so it's not accomplishing anything right now. Okie dokie. Oh, hey. And our goal is to get green in there. So either we insert it into earlier in the process or elsewhere. So in order to get green, you need red and blue sent to you. But green will be used earlier in the process somehow? There's no green source, right? So if red and blue are used to make green, and then you then have green, you're then combining green with something else to make the opposite color that's still not green. What I'm saying is I'm not sure what I'm doing with two RGB converters. I can think of like one interpretation though, which is that maybe once you get this thing up and running, there's a specific beam color you need to hold a door open, and so you add that with the other thing to make the other thing. So like, make green off towards here, but need to hold this door open, so... I don't know. Laser puzzles can get kind of wild. Okay, anyway, I'm making green twice now. Why wouldst one do such a thing? The auxiliary factor. I figure that I'm going to be making green in this room with one of them, and then I need to use the connector to make the green bounce over there. So in order to make that possible, I need to use the other RGB converter to take the green and combine it with the red to make blue to hold this door open. That's my kind of fucky guess. But this will somehow shoot over there so that the connector can bring the green around the corner. I don't see a path forward that much, so I'm kind of trying to reverse engineer a solution from the mechanics that are in front of me, essentially. It's like this requires green to open the door. If this receives green, it'll turn blue. In order to get green, I have to combine these two to each other. Now, having done all that, the door is now open. But now how do I get the green to shoot around the corner? Because if I bring it over here, it'll interrupt everything. Oh. Get it the most out of the way I can. So blue and red is making green, green is shooting the... Okay. My mistake was thinking that I need to be in that room. I don't need to be in that room. I can be in this room. This is kind of getting a bit narrow. So now when I take this off, it's no longer attached. There should be a spot where this works. There we go. Yeah, my blind sight was trying to make it work in that room in the first place. They both go to the entrance. Alright.
Do not let it get out that I said something so sentimental, but it's nice that you're all here. One day all this will be a distant memory. A footnote in a billion years of human history. And that's all right as far as I'm concerned. I don't need to be famous. And I certainly don't want people building statues of me. I don't need that superficial nonsense because I know that what we did mattered. All of us together, in this one brief moment of time, had the chance to make a difference. And we did. We took on the challenge, and we didn't muck it up. I got to be a part of that. And no matter what comes next, I'll always be grateful.
Melville's a neat character. I generally like her quite a bit. I'm trying to find this island's statues. Oh, here we go. And then somewhere out here is one of the flames. And then I mean to get the green beam to the one statue at some point. But where is El Flame? That's distinct. I don't see a crack. So maybe it's not a door? I just thought it was a door. That's not a question mark, so I've interacted with it before. Okay, let's go turn in my thing. Because I have the code for the sandbar. But somewhere out here is that guy's flame to chase. And I don't know where they hit it. So orient myself facing the pocket. Yep, this side. So this little zigzag in the bottom right. Do. Oh, does that streak tell you where it is too? Those flames in a different island then. Alright, so I believe I'm backwards about the interpretation of which ones are, how these are counted. So I just need to flip all of them. Yep. The process of trying to interpret what counts as on and what counts as off. So I still have 2 more statues. I need to activate the lighthouse as a whole, and I also need to go back to the one I couldn't solve. And I guess stare at it until I can figure out what it wants from me. I feel a bit dumb moving on, but at the same time, it's like, dude, just look at it. Like, there's not... Unless I'm missing something really crucial. I mean, I am, by definition. But, like... There's, like, no sign of what the puzzle is, as far as I could tell. Oh, here it is. Ta-da!
You care for what is outside. What is inside cares for you.
You are such a dork. But yeah, I'm amused by them encouraging the people to send the press codes to all cover this part first, because it's the part that's least consequential. And then they also still only wants to do some of it, but the other two definitely seem like they're more plot relevant. Okay, so this one needs a green beam. Turnabout. And yeah, it's always, we gotta keep in mind that whenever you solve one of these places, all of the blue barriers especially just turn off, which is very helpful. There are locations where it might be helpful to shoot the beam to this puzzle and then bounce it back. This whole side is empty. But given the angles, it feels like it's either that or that. This one has a green receptacle, so you definitely were able to get a green beam. Everything unsolved itself. So your best angle for seeing outside seems to be looking out this window. But the side of the base we can see from here is the tallest wall with grates. Can we even see the opposite puzzle's entrance? Maybe technically past those trees, but mostly not. It feels like it's not this one because the line of sight's so bad that you wouldn't think they would do it on purpose. This one seems more likely because there's an upstairs, but also not because it has the barrier thingy. It's hard to see, but it has the purple thing that would disintegrate any items I'm holding. Not disintegrate, but it makes me drop them. But if you get an item up there, you might be able to see over the wall over there. But even that seems a little tenuous. I wonder if I can do this or not with what I have. Haha! Nope, it won't let me jump. There we go. These definitely feel less like puzzles and more like just brute force all the options until one of them works. But that's what the previous puzzles that they're replacing also felt like, so I guess this is an upgrade because I don't get stuck on it for half an hour like the other ones. It's got that going for it.
You've activated the second lighthouse. Good job. Oh, you may be wondering why I took inspiration from lighthouses. It is because they no longer have a function. Once we needed them to guide us to safety from the dangers of the sea. But now that we no longer fear the sea, they are free to be beautiful in and of themselves.
There is no lighthouse. Can I get back upstairs? Am I in trouble? Okay. I grew a little concerned. Alright, that's 2 colors down. See, that guy should be kind of pointless. Okay, white connection. I believe we want it to be that high up. There is a weird spot on the ground, but I do think that these might be lore. They might just be that this is how the puzzle maker resets the puzzles, is they puts them there. Because I don't think there's a blue beam in here. And without a blue beam, I can't use the inverter to move the platform. So I can't move it to be over here while that's on there. I have to use this one to do it. So this seems to be where it has to be, logically. I guess now I can grab a connector. Just kind of point it over there just to see if it gives me a tick or not. Okie dokie. Maybe it's that easy then. I did not think it'd connect that way. Okay, so now I just need to make a green beam, and this level had that, right? Yeah, I needed a green beam to solve the puzzle. So somewhere in here is a thingy that combines a thingy. There it is. RGB converter, so you need blue and red combined. That's fine. Blue. And this red. Now it's firing a green beam. Did it connect? There we go. Oh. Oh, there it is. It was still spawning. All right.
Today is born the seventh one. Born of robots, the seventh son. And he in turn of a seventh son. He has the power to repair. He has the gift of the upgraded sensors. He is the chosen one. So it shall be written. So it shall be done.
He's getting into it. He's a goofy man. I can take another look at it because it'd be nice to finish this island, but I think I still don't get what they want from me. Now he's carrying a box that has the thing on it. Whoa. I'm so confused. I just don't see a goal. It's just like, here's a bunch of random devices. I don't know. I don't understand why they would hide from you what your objective is. Because what am I supposed to do with that? I can't see inside this tower to see what's up with it. I hope I'm not just like really embarrassingly and densely missing the point, but like it sincerely feels like they just hid the objective from me. The journey. As teleportation becomes more widespread, I'd like all of you to take a little step back, think about the coming changes, and perhaps make a few resolutions about how you're going to interact with the world around us. What's Old DM going on about this time? Well, I'm talking about the spaces between things, between our starting point and our goal. I'm talking about the journey. Those of you who attended my talk on the poet Konstantinos Kavafis will remember what Ithaca stands for. You never know what the journey may bring, what insights you will have simply walking somewhere. Cutting out that distance is certainly convenient, but sometimes there is more to wisdom than convenience. We should listen to Niam and pledge to always at least walk somewhere once, so we've really seen the space. How about simply walking for pleasure? Going somewhere without a goal is a lovely experience. Now that's ironic, coming from you. Oh my, I suppose you do have a point there. You are much more perceptive than I ever was, dear Melville. It's almost like a commentary on fast travel systems. Just the silliness of just like, oh well, if you can teleport everywhere, shouldn't you still like experience what the place is like? It's like how in video games you have to travel somewhere on foot in order to unlock the ability to travel to it instantly. Our third and final procrastination tool, island. Definitely not me just procrastinating on the stuff I'm stuck on. Hello. I guess I found the side that the new puzzles are introduced on. Part 1. The smoothie solution. Is we're gonna blend it or something? Alright, RGB converter. Red and blue. But I need a blue, so I'm gonna combine red and green. These are such funny situations because they're just annoying. Okay, it's all RGB converters, yep. It's about having to make do with the least convenient tool the game has. Now I can just shoot I can shoot the green one layer deeper without changing anything. This gives us a new converter. And now I need red, which is blue and green. Now I need blue, which is red and green. And that's going to be the end of the puzzle. Well. So we've got a bit of a contradiction here, because I need to somehow get blue to this. Alright. It needs to become blue, so I need red and green. So we probably need to do some rewiring. Because this needs red and green, but the red is the forefront one right now, and it's physically... We have a continuity from wall to wall that blocks access to the source of green. Oh, right. That's certainly one thing we get to rewire, is the fact that I don't need to open this door anymore. Let's see. So I need one of the things that's in front of the pack to be putting out green. So we are still blocking it via that. This is all started by us using these colors back at the beginning. But the only way to make blue is with red and green. And we need to open this one first. We can't unopen this one, it has to stay open. There's no back lasers, no ways to skip it. So this needs red and green. In order to make green, I need red and blue. So both of these have to be attached to both colors. And that's not possible to do on the other side of things because they'll cross beams. So this part of the puzzle seemingly has to be exactly like this no matter what. Like moving them around in space doesn't really affect the reality of their relationship with each other in space. And your goal is to attach to both of them, basically. Make blue? No. I need to make red, too. So red is made of blue. That's what I need to do. I need to cut that guy out, because now there's no longer the mess. So we're going green and red. There we go. I had to go back to the source so that it wasn't blocking the path. That was what the puzzle was. Probably got stuck on that longer than I would expect myself to for a,
You don't have to solve the puzzles for me, right? I really don't expect you to.
No, I want to keep going. Like, I thought I'd suck a lot more, but I'm actually doing pretty well. How are you?
I tried building sandcastles. It's an interesting challenge, working with materials that lack sufficient structural cohesion. I can see the appeal. It's like the puzzles. You don't solve them because you have to, but because it's interesting.
I like it when you get all sciencey.
Aha, so you only want me for my intellect.
I like your fancy color scheme, too.
Oh, interesting. You know, maybe we should try that new data stream pairing protocol one of these days.
Pairing protocol? Why would we want... Oh. I mean, if you want, sure.
They're trying to reinvent sex or something like that. Hello. Is there a maze under here or... Yep. Got it. I'll never use it, but I got it. I could use it on the one that I haven't solved, but it's still, it's like out against the spirit. I have to figure out what's wrong with it. Why can't I solve it? Anyway, I probably spent more time on that first puzzle than I usually do on a part 1 of a zone. Hi. Would you like some distressing eye contact? Me too. Oh, I love it. Exit is here. That's peculiar. Probably just lines up with the window, so it's just a helpful place to put something I might need later. or even myself, where I might stand so I can switch between us. Yeah, it just lines up with both the windows. Seems like there's nothing to do in here. Are there going to be more of me in here? There's a button in there. Okay. I think standing on that button might be the end of the puzzle. I just stand on this button, then switch bodies to that guy, and if I can find my way back out, then this door will be open. Can't physically see it opening and closing, but it's the only thing that I think is triggerable around here. The issue being you can only switch to people you currently see. So I think they use this as my opportunity to relocate you to the other spot. There's an interesting conundrum where you can only switch to people you can currently see. How much that limits you. I must have to line up myself with this window and this window. And switch to you. To switch to you. To go to this window to get you, to get this button, to go to you, to go to you, to get the thing. Yeah. Waka waka. Not even what that means.
I wanted to thank you, Yakut.
Me? What for?
I know you had your misgivings about the megastructure and the theory of everything, but you've managed to embrace this new world with real enthusiasm. You've flourished. That gives me hope that I can do the same.
I still see all the dangers, but what I realized is that control over nature means we get to save the people we love. We get to keep them with us, here, in the real world. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. Philosophy, science, technology, as far as I'm concerned, the only reason any of it has any real value is because it means people get to live and to be together. Sorry about the rant.
Nothing to be sorry about. I've come to similar conclusions.
Well, that's sweet. Oh, it's a red beam, right? There we go. So we're currently pressing both blue and the red separately, which gives us access to this back room, which, alright, I'm gonna need a device to come with me. Now it's open from behind. Right. Well, not quite. But this can become my source of red. So these are open. I'm opening the door from behind on this side. I don't know if this will work. It did work. Okay. I was gonna say, it depends on it depends on which part of this fails first. Because if the wall failed first, it would cut off the source of red. But if the beam reaches it first, then it goes on without it being. Then it connects, and so it becomes a fail state that becomes the new source of red for that thing. And now everything's still being held open. Now I can just do this. Ta-da! When I sit here solving entire puzzles in like 2 or 3 minutes, it makes me feel really bad about how long I can spend on like the bonus secret stuff, because by comparison it is like incredibly time consuming. And you start to feel self-conscious about that. You're like, man, is this part worth doing?
Yakut, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm very thankful for everything you and your friends did for New Jerusalem.
Your voice pack sounds familiar.
It's not only my voice pack. When the algorithm created my personality matrix, something unusual happened. Instead of drawing on the collected personality data on the gold disk, it drew on the Holistic Integration Manager dataset. I am mostly Elohim, with a few additions.
So, are you like the Elohim in my head?
Behold, child. The Elohim you know is not sufficiently advanced to function as an independent being, but we are very similar. The difference is that I can make jokes.
Ha 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 ha.
Tell me a joke.
If you have 13 red tetrominos in one hand and 15 green tetrominos in the other, what do you have?
I don't know. What?
Very large hands. Okay, I know it needs some work. This is all very new to me, but I think I'm getting better at it.
Did the algorithm glitch out, or was that normal? Sorry, is that rude?
No, I understand your question. It seems the algorithm is even more complex than we realized. Neith believes that Alexandra Drennan may have designed it to produce more varied results once a base population had been established.
That could almost be worrying, because like, what if you hit a certain level of population and then it starts introducing people that are more unstable or have very strange views, and suddenly you can like reinvent war.
Did you come here to solve puzzles?
No, I just wanted somewhere quiet to relax and think about the future. There's always so much going on in New Jerusalem.
What's it like being born after all these dramatic events?
I see it as a blessing. I understand that these struggles were necessary, but I wouldn't want to actually experience them. Thanks to what you went through, we can live better lives.
What do you think our future will be like?
I don't have the slightest idea. I don't even really know who I am. Am I funny? Am I serious? Do I want to reinvent myself or celebrate my heritage? But you see, it doesn't matter. If I get it wrong, I can try again. Because I was lucky enough to be born into a society that's still growing and evolving.
I should go. It was nice meeting you.
It feels weirdly like being talked to by the Kurzgesagt narrator. The world is going to be consumed by a black hole. It's just at most videos. I kind of got tired of the entire channel because so many of them were about like the end of the universe or something. To the point where I was like, did I see this video before? I started to feel like every time they were uploading a new video, I thought it was a video I'd seen before. And I'm like, why? How'd they land on There's so much science. There's so much science. Why is this channel always about space and microorganisms? Okay, so I got a connector. Our goal is to presumably get the bubble over here to negate the beam. Like so. And if I open this side, it gives me bonus bubble. More bubble, more fun. 6 bubble. Okay, this one's blue only. Oh, there is a blue beam in there. Okay. And we need to negate 2 of these. One of them kind of around the corner, but maybe you can get that one from the inside of this wall. There's a solid wall in between this space right here. So you can't just get it from the other side of this wall, as I thought at first. But you need to get that one to somehow go around a corner. So you need to put a connector there, basically, to shoot it down this way. But then even if you do that, can you get in range? Is the bubble big enough to hit that from, like, here? Otherwise you have to go around another corner, and that would require a new connector. But as far as I can tell, we have 1 connector total and 2 bubbles. Wait. They activate each other, right. But these are far enough away from each other that I don't think we're going to be activating both of them together. There is this back path around this one, but we don't have enough connectors to worm our way around this whole thing, so we do want to disable this. I think it just gives me the ability to set up what part 2 is going to do in advance or something. So yeah, I can't connect to that one. I can only connect to this. That gives me the wrong colored beam. It needs to hold itself open, but if I can... Oh, that's what it is. The trick is that I need to have it sustaining itself from the inside. Because then I can go inside here. Set up our blue connector. And then we can let this close behind me. Well, this is evil. It's this close. That is so pixel perfect that I can't entirely tell if it's intended or not. I don't know. I mean, they gave me an indicator that lets me carefully scan for it. And this did feel like it was the solution, was to use one beam to negate one and the other one to negate the other one, because they're too far apart to chain bubble. And they just have to be at those two places, and that's how many connectors we have, and that has to go around a corner in order to be usable, so... Yeah. Everything seemed intentional until it was so pixel perfect that it felt like something someone wouldn't do on purpose because it just seemed dickish. But like they would have blocked that. They put little things on the corners all the time to stop this kind of thing from happening. So maybe this was intentional. It just seems iffy. I guess
I hope you all know that I didn't bear you any personal animosity. You're my friends, and I never wanted to shut you out. I just didn't know how to deal with the world going in a direction that wasn't what I had imagined.
It's an easy mistake to make. I should know.
I never thought you were angry, Al. I was just disappointed I couldn't convince you.
Listen, you both, in your own way, showed me how to be a good person who cares about the world. You both had things you strongly believed in. You had principles, but you didn't judge each other for your disagreements. You showed me how to be strong, how to be bold, how to be compassionate, and how to be careful. I haven't really figured out who I want to be yet, but when I do, I know both of you will have been a big part of that.
What? A no love for Auntie Melville?
Yeah, and what about me, 1K? I showed you how to be neurotic.
I'm sure you're in there somewhere as well.
Thank you, 1K.
I showed you how to be neurotic. Look what you did. You gave him anxiety. Let's see what's back here and add it to the pile. There we go. Yeah, I guess if that was the intended solution, I just would like them to slightly modify it to not seem so jank. Because it seems so questionable what I did. Hello. That's how we get that past the barrier, by moving it when I don't have to physically hold it. That's fun. Okay, so to actually solve this puzzle, blue beam get here, and we have no weird beam items. We only have one connector total. Okay. We don't really need the red beam anymore. So this is my ultimate goal, is connecting these, which does kind of just tell me that I want to put it on the roof. Okay, it's from that part of the environment, which should explain why it's not really connecting. But there was more over here. Yep. That would connect to there. Would it connect to there? There's bars in the way. So if there's bars in the way, I'm not clear on what this spot accomplishes. Oh, we're at the fan. Stepping on this blocks that. I assume that when you put the block and the laser on here, it can connect to what it needs to. That might not be an accurate assumption, actually. It looks like it's still... I don't think I can see the blue source. Some water. Nothing back here. I'm guessing just a block and a laser connector are not going to be enough to connect these. Only, right? That would be too easy. Yeah, somehow that has to go from there to there with no other steps. Again, unless I'm missing something, there is just no other connector. But then this seemed like I'd be intuitively involved in that, and it must be involved in some way because it exists, but I'm really unclear on what its role is. You can't shoot it from here. See, this doesn't really work because when I step on it, it'll just fly away. I guess if the block and the laser are up here, it might slowly float across the room. Depending on the travel time, I might have time to run over there while it fills up. Because I don't need to be... I need to be on this to lift it into the air, but I don't have to be on this in order for it to be traveling across the room. That said, we need to get this over the wall somehow. There's nothing on this side. Nothing around here. No way to get to reach that necessarily. And you also can't shoot that from the button. I'm just kind of missing how to get this across. Can't pick up the fan. So if the solution is to put a block on here and that on the block and then lift it up into the air and then have it get tractor beamed across the room, how do I get all three items across this gate? There's no jammer for it. Something has to be pressing this button. I could be wrong about the entire solution. What else would it be? How do I connect that to that? So it doesn't even connect now. I'm just hoping it'll go connect to that eventually. Okay, it goes pretty fast too. I think that's too fast for it to open the door. I think. But if it is too fast to open the door, then how do I open the door? This can't be that complicated, right? Because my goal is to get that beam from there to there with one connector. So how wild can they make the puzzle? That wall doesn't work because it looks over this wall, but I can't see around this corner. They even put this extra barrier up here to make sure it can't connect at all. I can bring myself up here, but it won't bring me in. So I can't unpress the button to make that barrier drop. Just kind of thinking of permutations of these mechanics, like when you press and unpress the button could drop the item in a particular spot. When I see this thing, I often think about the gravity thing from Portal. So being able to turn it on and off like this makes me think about like those levels where you try to make paint land in a specific spot. But the crucial thing here is that I can just put the box and the laser anywhere in the room I want. I don't need all this complicated stuff to do that. And there's nothing between here and there that I can't reach on foot. I can't reverse this. That's not line of sight either, like I figured. I don't get this one right now. A lot of puzzles have like a contradiction to them. You're like, oh, this does that and that does that, but then how do you do that at the same time as that or something? But instead I'm kind of just having this baffling moment where I'm like, what's the fan for? What's that for? And then what's this for? It's like, I use it to get the box out of this room. So like, is that all I needed? Because there are some puzzles in this game that would have you do that one time, and then you never need this thing again. And you just use it to press buttons or something. Those aren't usable. But yeah, that doesn't answer for me what this part is for. Because I think if I suck the laser beam thing into here, I don't think it'll do anything. And this thing can't suck itself. The use of this is weird too, because I can just do this to hop over the fence, and now I'm just on this side of the wall with all of the devices I could potentially need in one go. But then still I'm clueless about what to do in the puzzle. Okay, no, it just does it.
Melville?
Huh.
Yes, Alcatraz?
That photo you took of me and Byron to celebrate our reconciliation?
Yes?
Nothing. It's perfect.
This is a very hard thing to interpret visually. If I were to knock on this puzzle, I would say that this grate on the side makes it really unclear how to solve it, and it just makes the whole thing confusing. But I guess it's relatively straightforward. One of my first ideas was the solution. Admittedly, I needed to realize I could just hop over the fence, which I don't know if that was intended or not either. I don't know, it feels slightly weird. But I guess that was maybe that was the aha moment, because this is like just step-by-step instructions. Put this to point it at that. Blah, blah, blah. My problem is that there's a giant grate in the way, and like, I have struggled to get beams past much smaller grates than that one, so it looks like it shouldn't work. So the grate being there feels unnecessary, because it makes it look like you can't do it. Maybe they were worried that you would get just that one laser thing up there, and it would work without the cube. But you can't get the cube, you can't get it up there without a cube because it's a fan. So you can't propel it up there without the cube. So I think that the cage around this thing was just completely unnecessary and made it look like the puzzle was something other than what it was. Because actually this cage seems to not affect the puzzle. Like, yeah, I don't think you can put a laser emitter, a laser connector up there in a way that would be colliding with any of these. So their existence makes it look like they're there to block you, because that's the point of all these other cages, is to block specific angles, but it doesn't block it. So I don't know, I just feel iffy on that one by the end. But oh well, it's on me for not just immediately testing every single option, even the ones that I think won't work, because it looks like they're obviously designed to specifically not work. I should just do the thing that is that I expect to fail anyway each time. Miranda, 5 fathom deep. A lot less than 5, but still. Father and I went diving. There's a whole world down there. So many strange and unusual species. I'd really like to explore the deeper reaches of the oceans one day. They can just walk around a bit. I usually die, but maybe... And if they went diving, they went underwater. I think it really is just a boundary to be like, well, you're out of the world's bounds, careful. Reunited, Melville. They may be idiots, but there are idiots. They had a nice little arc. That's fun for them. Dom Jean, ask me anything. Okay, so Dom Jean is in the conversation, they just don't post first. Dom Jean doesn't need an extensive introduction from me, although he rarely talks about it. His music has inspired everyone in New Jerusalem for years. This is a rare opportunity for all of us to gain a deeper insight into his artistic process. One question per person, please. What was your favorite instrument? Every instrument can be magical when used correctly, but it's the guitar, of course. What's your favorite composer? I'm interested in learning more about music composition. If I exclude my namesake, then it's Hans Zimmer. His best pieces are so good they feel like something out of myth. That said, you should always listen to lots of different stuff. Never get stuck on only one type of music. There's so much incredible music out there. Hey dude, huge fan. What's your favorite track of your own work? Why is the fall of Gehenna? It just gives me chills. I'm not sure I can choose. They all mean something unique to me. That said, on my latest album, I was very proud of the Southern Horizons, inspired by everything I felt. As I watched the expedition search for Athena, I think I captured something there. You mentioned your namesake. Who are you named after? I picked my name in honor of the great composer Damjan Mravinac, whose music Alexandra Drennan listened to as she worked on the simulation. He was a composer for video games, and I think his work never got the level of attention it deserved, because most people back then treated games as products, not work of art. From reading his writings, I suspect he was also far too humble for his own good, so I take every chance I can get to tell people about his music. Is your music directly inspired by his? Yes, definitely. If you listen to what he did, and then to what I've done, you'll see that I've really tried to continue his legacy. I think every artist does that, to some degree. We all see something that matters to us in the past, and we carry it forward into the future. We keep the flame alive. Your answers are truly inspiring, sir. Speaking of the future, where is your imagination taking you next? I'm working on several new albums, but what's really gotten stuck in my head lately is this anomaly that Athena apparently discovered in deep space, an object older than the universe. It does not obey the theory of everything. Is it a threat? A message? A trace of the prime mover? I feel new melodies stirring. What is this melody? I'm always cursed to start yawning whenever I read more than a few pages of dialogue in a row, because I'm just continually talking and I just apparently just lose track of my breathing rhythm and then build up CO2 and have to yawn. And I always feel bad because it makes it sound like I'm tired or disinterested or something. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yawn. It'll happen at 8 a.m. It'll happen at noon. It'll happen at 10 p.m. 5 p.m. It doesn't matter. Okay, so this thing can burst bubbles. I need a red connector here. And then a block so I can climb up there, it looks like. Okay, so this one holds this door open. And this is a slanty wall, so I can actually get around a bit. If I'm very careful. Okay, maybe you can't reach that one. But new beam source. Okay. That's what I thought. So if I pick up the block, this thing closes. But I need the block. I'm not getting the next room. Oh. Oh, fuck. really locks into place too. So it's too sharp of a corner to put it on the button and have it do this. Yeah, that's also a problem. And you also can't derive lasers from these. Oh, but I put it between them. I was able to lace the difference. Okay. I was able to put it in a spot where it gets both doors at once, so that solves my problem. Okay, this is all dead space, right? Physical walls and grates that are useless to me. Okay, so let's get everything back into the middle of the puzzle. Because this whole wing of the puzzle is now dead rooms. Okay. Now we have a connector. Means I can do this. I can climb up here. And that looks like is that a jammer? Which would be helpful. But I'm not getting past here very easily right now. So I can make a blue beam, but it doesn't currently do anything. Okay, we're not close enough to trigger that. So okay, we're probably done with this whole area. For now. And instead want to work on this side of things. No. Man, sometimes I wish I could rewind a minute and not have to redo everything. I forgot my box. So that was a bit of a fuck up. Box. And now I've got a jammer. And I imagine this is where we use the middle of the puzzle now. My goal is just to connect the red and blue beams. Which seems not especially hard. But doing it this roundabout way is probably kind of pointless. Don't forget the block this time. The tetrahedron. I need the block to get upstairs. The beams are in place. I just need to have this open, which means primarily that I need to have this button pressed. Now I can unjam this and jam that one. Yay. Yeah, that was a prime example of having a level that has a bunch of zones that kind of die on you. And then you're done with them. 1K, they're back. I just like hearing them talk. Observe Byron and Alcatraz in their natural habitat, a complex discussion on philosophical ideas in which they completely disagree and yet somehow manage to be pleasant about it. In this instance, they have drawn in the elusive creature known as Barjai, and are arguing with him about the nature of the sublime. I think he's either terrified or having the time of his life. So they're arguing with the person that's hosting this entire place. Are they here somewhere? Who's the person covered in the different colored diamonds? Is that the artist? Because these are the two people arguing, right? That's not 1K, is it? Because 1K took the picture. Yeah, that's what they look like. Maybe the host of the whole exhibit has shown themselves again up front. Please wait, I'm reading the rules. Multiplicity. Greetings, friends and fellow citizens. I would like to inquire as to the possibility of existing as a single consciousness in multiple bodies simultaneously. I would very much like to exist in this fashion, but I am not certain whether it is feasible. Like whether or not one person in multiple bodies can be the same person? They'd have to be remote controlled, essentially, or linked in some way. In theory, it is possible, but if you want to be one continuous consciousness, there are some strict technical limitations, largely involving distance and the speed at which information can travel. Hard limits are hard limits. There's more to it than that. You would also need a very different sort of mind than we have, capable of dealing with all this input and output in parallel. Which is certainly feasible, but should be done carefully. Finally, an application of all this new technology that will actually expand someone's mind. But tell me, what made you come up with this idea? Thank you, Nathan Linux. That sounds encouraging. As to your question, dear Helga, I don't think it is something I can answer in entirely rational terms. Let me simply say that I am in love with the world and wish to see it more of its beauty. It feels like they're incorporating the idea of somebody who is plural, which is a concept I do not really understand, but it exists. People who refer to themselves as we and so on. And here's 7. I saw the monitor way down there. I just didn't want to hop down to get to it. I'm focused on my puzzles. These are becoming circular, aren't they? They do all look like some kind of repurposed turbine type thing with how circular they are. Well, not really, because it doesn't seem functional. They just kind of evoke it. Okay. short walls that I can walk through. The exit's right there. If I see a short wall a short wall like this that I can walk through, what that tells me is that I need to get a box. And with the box, I can jump over it while carrying this thing to take it outside of the bounds that it currently has. Because this game does not let you jump and just drop things. It's very strict with some of its rules. Okay, well this door is locked. There is a thing also over there that's behind its own barrier. Ow, I need to stand up more. I should just take a break soon in general. I'm really unclear on this one right now. Oh, there's a puzzle under me again. I think I already solved that one. Okay, so what's throwing me off about this puzzle right now is there's nowhere to shoot the beam that I see. Oh, there's one over there. Okay, here it is. Okay, so that's where there's blue circles there, because blue thing open blue. Red, but then there's a green one over here. Oh, it rotates. That's cursed. Okay, so now my job is to hit RGB all at once. And green makes it all rotate. Thankfully, it didn't rotate out of green, so it's not going to be freaking out constantly. But now I need to go back and figure out how to light them all again in the new configuration. There does not appear to be a box anywhere on the level, so I don't think I can take any of them through these barriers. I guess they're just low to make visibility easier. But basically I need to reconcile these first two chambers now. And that's with the fact that I can't shoot through here. And red is all the hell the way over here. And probably hit it from here. This definitely still feels like it would require at minimum one more connector. One to have here. One to have here, then one to have there. Because the playpen in here is completely wrapped up inside here. So I can't shoot around the corner. I think all the more perplexing is that I need to somehow have blue. And right now I can't even reach blue. So I think I need to undo green first. Ah. Because the struggle here is that blue is at the beginning of the process and I literally couldn't reach it anymore. So blue on this side is a little bit of an unforgiving thing to aim at. Okay, now I think I can do this without interrupting blue. Red isn't fixed at all, but... Alright, so green and blue are both fixed. But somehow red has to happen. And I'm out of connectors. So... this has become complicated. There's little fins on each side, so you can't access red until you're in this chamber. Whew. Okay, because it seems kind of unmanageable. So one of the things I'm questioning is like, do I use the fact that these doors open and close throughout the process, cutting off a beam that might be shooting into a connector and then changing its target? But one, I can't change where the beam's going to try to shoot to, and I can't change. I can toggle off one source in one of the states using the wall, but in the other state, both beams will come through. So I can't simultaneously be on the left side of one wall and the right side of the other wall. So like, I can't just receive a beam through this side on one state and that state on the other state, because I get the you can't. You're on one side of the wall regardless. And so that beam will always hit you. Unless you set up some crazy zigzag stuff. Which maybe. You'd have to basically be in line of sight of one of the beams. Essentially have to be in line of sight of one of the beams, and then in line of sight of what's connected to one of the beams. And then you see one when this one's in this state, and the other one's in this state. Maybe. But the problem is that it's very costly. It'll use my only outside bubble. Like, I could see how it's like, oh, I'm connected to this red beam that way, and then I connect to this one and the change. It's a clever, hyper-complicated nightmare solution that I think isn't applicable because I just don't have the economy of lasers to do the rest of what I need in general. Oh, this one's hard to think about. Because it moves. Because what throws me off is that, like, it almost makes you think you need a second job for each beam. Since two of the three, we have 4 beams, and 2 of them cannot stay attached to the same destination. They have to be attached to the same source, because this doesn't move and this doesn't move, and I press the thing. But the thing they're shooting at, 2 of them will be interrupted. One of them will be shooting the bottom the whole time, will be fine. And my 4th connector can try to salvage the mess for one of them. But that's obviously not mathing out. But this middle area is tall, so I can't connect to a different beam. All the beams are, not only is it too tall to shoot anything over it, besides up there, the beams are on the wall pointing outward, so there's just like no solution. For most of that stuff, there's no solutions. That seem apparent. Man. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break. This one's a lot. Alright, I'm here on a second day, and I really am just taken aback by how, like, obviously impossible this puzzle is. Like, twist and turn. Like, it's safe to assume that the game is play tested and designed and it makes sense, and therefore all the puzzles are solvable. So I don't mean it's literally impossible. I just mean that it's like, it's impossible, you know? It doesn't make sense. There's no way you can solve this. What? Something wild is happening here. Oops. Ah, whatever. Who cares about extra laser? So that's the basic setup just for essentially navigating the puzzle and getting the last beam emitter into the puzzle, and then you have to set it up in that way so that this will, you have to unrotate it then re-rotate it to make it so that this can go through here. So I didn't just start this up. I've been staring at it for like the last 20 minutes today on another day. I've had a few ideas. I've been thinking about like how to interrupt a beam, and I've been thinking about like, is there some way to make this beam inconsistent? Because the thing about this puzzle is that it technically is solved for a few seconds at a time. And I still think this might be the solution because I can't come up with anything else that could work, but I don't know how to make it happen exactly. Because what stands out to me about this setup is that I can use one beam, the one bonus beam, to change what quadrant a color is in. Like, intuitively, we need to make this blue beam, which starts off pointing here, go all the way around and hit this side. At the same time, you need the red beam to go all the way around and hit that side. But as you can imagine, as I'm sure you can immediately tell, that requires an entire extra beam connector, which we don't have. Like, because like you can't see over these walls. There's no platforms anywhere. They carefully made sure we can't go outside of these things, and also they made sure that there's a barrier blocking the corner that each beam emitter is at, that you can't just like hit the target directly. Because they saw, like right here, if you put one here, it might have been able to see that and that at the same time, which would mean that I could stop using this beam for this and use it for something else. The problem still being that like I can't get around. But anyway, I can't do that because it's blocked. Sorry, I started working that problem for a second, then I'm like, what am I talking about? I just said how it's impossible. Be like because given how we have so little to work with, you want to find a way to repurpose these to be a different beam color somehow. Like, how do I make this the blue beam? But like, you can't. I mean, I can in a stupid way. I could unplug it from the red and then plug this one in and shoot this through there, but that's even more wasteful than what's already happening. So with the one external beam, I can make one of the colors reach the other side, well, after this turn. But I can't make the other one reach the other side because I need another one of these. And also, it's probably basically impossible due to the angles allowed anyway. Like, even if I had another one, I don't know if I could do it because I would need completely different angles. Like, maybe like all the way over here. Definitely have to be like as far in this corner as possible. You get like a really deep angle. And this one would have to be as far forward as possible somehow, which is just a mess. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway. So I'm thinking the real solution, and it's based on the fact that I see this for a moment. So this is open right now because everything's, this is only attached to green. This one's attached to all three of them being active at the same time, which functionally requires it to reset. The problem is that it only resets when the green stops being connected because the green affects the twist. If the rest of them were required for twisting the thing, then it would untwist itself immediately. So only the green breaking can untwist it. So if I can make it so that the green one keeps turning on and off over and over again, somehow, then it would keep twisting and untwisting, and this door would keep opening and closing, and that would give me the 1 second of opening I need to actually solve the puzzle, and it wouldn't really matter that it's not permanently solved. So I think that the red and blue just have to point at the red and blue sides, because what else are they gonna fucking do? But I'm trying to think of if there's like a way to like corrupt the beam. Because basically what I'm thinking is that we need to use our extra connector to nab the red and interrupt the beam, which creates its own problems because of how beams work. This motherfucker will shoot a beam at it, which is annoying. I may have just figured it out, though. I might have finally gotten it. God, I really stared at this one for a while. Yup. I realized where this intersects with what I was thinking earlier, which is that we can combine it with my previous idea of how these two gates have different states. So I need to find a way to turn the green on and off. This hopefully worked. I haven't actually gone through yet, so let's not... Okay, yeah, it's definitely opening and closing. Oh, God. Okay. Whew. That was a best case scenario where I spent a decent amount of time before the session staring at this thing, trying to unpack more of it, not making much progress. But then, while I was explaining why I'm stuck, I ended up solving it. So pretty much all the breakthroughs happened on camera anyway. So I need to go back to the previous island's really hard puzzle and figure out what that one is. The thing about that is that, like, this one was hard, but all the variables were in front of me and I could see what they were. I just still don't know what I'm looking at. I looked at the other puzzle again, and I still can't tell what it wants me to do. That's really frustrating. I'm really, really frustrated that there's a whole puzzle where I just can't tell what it's asking of me. The high road. That feels like an unprecedented problem in Talos Principle. Maybe some people will like that puzzle. Maybe it's clever. Maybe it's so obvious because they instantly see the thing to do that it's literally not even a puzzle for some people. But I just genuinely cannot tell what that puzzle wants from me. And it's driving me actually crazy. And that's not really... I can't imagine it having a very satisfying outcome, given that. Like, how satisfying could it be if I just can't even tell what the puzzle is? At this point, I'm just ranting about it continuously, and I'm not psyched about that either. But I feel like I'm not crazy for being like, why does this puzzle not have a single place to shoot a laser, or a single button, or a single one of the things you do to interact with the puzzles? It just has all the things that you use to solve the puzzles, but doesn't have any of the things that you interact with puzzles normally. So I'm just like, I don't get what that puzzle's doing. I'm so confused. Let's see. So these are we haven't dealt with these guys for a while. The swappers. When you have a budget. So I can have a box, or I can have a connector. Most of the time, the box is the least useful object in the game. Just because its go-to thing was that it's originally introduced to be as being a thing that can press buttons, but won't do anything else. Its purpose is to not have a purpose most of the time. But you can jump on it to jump over things, but I don't see anything to jump over here. And then its one kind of quirky trait is that you can use it to put something on top of it, and then put it on a fan, and then the fan works to levitate the thing where it normally doesn't. This looks like it requires that button to be pressed. Okay. Got it. Let's see something. Okay, so even though the button takes up most of the pad, these do work. Oh, there's a barrier, which requires a red beam. Okay. Yeah, you usually don't need a box unless it's really explicitly obvious you need a box. And even when you need a box in these kinds of switcher puzzles, you usually like just need the box for the purpose of you pretty much just need the box for the purpose of needing one more item because there's too many buttons. Okay, so okay, so where's the red beam? That is the inverter. What's in this back corner? Another one of the another jammer or another gravity guy? 2 gravity guys in the same level. That's not common. You usually don't need to have multiple running at once. This one requires blue, but once again, I don't have a laser yet, right? Oh, there's a laser. There it is. Okay. I did not see that there. Whoops. So this room just gives you access to a gravity spot, and then another gravity spot, so you can set them over there, pressing that button. And it can't be you because you have to hold the door open. And I need you to do the gravity. That one's locked in the room. This one's open by pressing that button. That one's open by pressing that button. Okay, so how do I'm not missing an item, right? Like, I can hop up on here, but not gonna do me a ton of good. And I can't take you with me. So you have to put it down to make it work. So I can't change it to take me over there. But if I move this, then the door closes. Okay. There's no more items in here. There's a box, but you have to swap for it, so you can't increase your item budget. I don't get another item till I open one of these. But I can't change the target of this guy. So I basically want it to go over there. But I can't change the target from there to there once I'm in the air. Meanwhile, I can't connect this beam to that while this is in there, because one, I can't get through the barrier while I'm holding it. And two, once it gets past this wall, it won't open this door anymore. There might be a gravity spot. I don't think so. I'm looking for a gravity spot I can access anywhere else in the level. Like that one's in the sky. They're all up in the sky pointing at each other. Like that one points down. So it can suck up things that are under it, but that's past the gate. So I'm just making sure there's not like a spot like that that's on this side of the gate, because that would be crucial. Because that would allow you to essentially bring an item into the network of gravity thingies. Huh, okay, yeah, I'm stuck. Yeah. What am I missing here? I'm stuck. There's nothing already up there, right? Like how I can do this as if to retrieve something. I don't think there's a chance to like nab anything from up there. So this is my big priority because this gives me an extra item. I want to press that button because then that'll give me this item. And the gravity thing cannot grab itself. So you can't put it up there and have it suck itself. It'll only bring me up and then leave the thing down there. And what am I missing? Hang on a minute. This seems really janky, but can I grab this through the window? Jeez, okay. Alright, I'm trapped in here, but it shouldn't really matter. Okay, I have to restart. Things were going good, but I broke the connection. I need to right click so that I don't break the connection. Because it needs to open the door back up when I'm on the other side. So right now I'm locked in here, but in just a moment here, it'll reconnect to the door and let me back out. And now I'm safe to leave, and now I have another item. Okay. Now I've got 2 gravity guns to play all sorts of games with. And now with these, I guess I can use these to double up for the purposes of having it redirect. Okay. An inverter. Thinking about how this is gonna work. So yep. So there's a grate in front of the red one, so you can't shoot it from down here. You also can't shoot it from over there. It looks like you can only shoot it from this side and from up there. How exactly is this going to work? Because this doesn't go through the barrier. Part of what I'm wondering right now is, how do I even get it down? Like, come down. So this must work somehow. Maybe this will make sense as I go. Yeah? I guess so. Okay. Intuitively, my go-to was to think that I needed to, like, bring that back down and replace it with that one. And do it again with it inverting. But I guess it's just over? I guess the puzzle's just over. Okay, yeah, no. I was anticipating more complexity. And then it was over already. I guess that happens.
Yes! I did it! I actually did it! Pretty cool, even if I say so myself. And now, I have to do the giant cube. but I can do this. Yes.
Hello, Elmore. It's Elohim, but more Elmore. Let's see. Let's look for the little computer terminal I saw. Oh, there it is. I didn't want to get off track, but honestly, it wouldn't have been that much of a detour to get back up. Non nobis solum. An extract from Tabani J. Calvin's final essay posted to a news group designated alt.nomadics.moderated shortly before his death. It's a very harsh reality to face. Not only that my life is about to end, but that I am not satisfied with it. I know I did my best with what I was given, but that's not enough. Needing money to survive, I spent the most significant part of my life writing idiotic software, most of which is already obsolete. I didn't see much of the world. I know that there is a transformational power in experiencing the reality of different places which cannot be replicated by reading about them. To truly know that another place is real, changes who you are. I didn't read enough, either. Our civilization is growing increasingly disdainful of reading, and I realized far too late how weak and unformed our minds are without reading. There are so many incredible books, and I know that my mind isn't half of what it could have been, and I am intellectually and spiritually poorer for it. I could go on, but time is a luxury I can no longer afford. What it comes down to is that despite my best efforts, my life was dissatisfying. I did not grow enough. I look at myself and I can feel the absence of the person I should have been. Because a world based on scarcity was a world in which writing crappy software was what I had to do to live at all. There's only one hope left for me. If the theoretical work I've done these last few years has any kind of impact, if it helps builds a better world in which people no longer have to waste their lives like I did, then my life will have been worth it. Each generation has to justify the life of the previous, until someday it all truly pays off. That's the gamble of being human, I guess. Be well, friends. The theories advanced by Tabani J. Calvin and other members of this circle eventually became the basis of the Institute for Applied Pneumatics, which is this whole game, yeah. And there's probably a code you might be able to unpack, but I won't. The question. We are too often asked, "Who are you?" and too rarely asked, "Who do you want to be?" We are afraid of the true answer to Are we afraid of the true answer to the latter question? Not enough money, not enough time, not enough power, not enough will. All the lives that we will never lead, a mirage on the horizon, forever out of reach, and we accept it. We call it wisdom, acceptance, letting go, humility. And we ask, why? Because we're too wise, cynical, to ask such questions, even though somewhere in a painful place deep inside ourselves that we remember when we wake up late at night in a panic, thinking, I'm going to die being just this. We know better. We never ask, why is this good enough? They're going heavy on these ones. I think it's a common experience too. Laying awake at night, questioning whether or not the direction your life is going, or the version of the life you're living is worthwhile, and whether or not you're okay with what's happening. And I think the underlying dissatisfaction for a lot of people is just no, absolutely not. But then the previous one points at that, like, we are in a scarcity-driven capitalist society. We live to create endlessly, because you always have to keep the treadmill going and always have to have the next bit of money coming so that you can survive and keep going. Like, that's, you're given the ultimate stakes. You can't evade this. You can't opt out for the most part. I think that when we see people living in like hippie communes or whatever, where they seem to like opt out of normal society and live a simpler life or something, we reflexively always want to call them unhinged or insane or weirdos or whatever, in some part because of the fact that, like, to do otherwise would be to have to engage with the idea that they might be right, to opt out of the overall world and system that we've all been in and find another way, because we all have the creeping worry that we're just living a horrible life and don't have a way out of it, because the ways out are often strange things like that are unrecognizable to us in terms of like life as we know it, and that's hard to process. What I will say is that, like, even on a minor way of like, and this is not me being outside it, I'm both outside the system in some ways and not outside it at all. I experience modern society in a different way than most people, being a weird internet creator, but also I feel like I also experience a weird intense version because certain protections or routines and regularities that other people have aren't part of my life, and instead I have to live without routine and without schedule, and I can't, there's my work that I do each day or each month and how much I do is disconnected from the rewards, and what causes rewards to happen is detached in this way that, like, it can drive you insane trying to process it. Because it's not how many hours I work that leads to how much money you make as a YouTuber. Not directly. It's not even always the quality of your work. Like, you can just make something and it will get 10%. People on my essay channel are already familiar with me thinking about this a bit, but like, I made that Evil Dead essay and it got 10,000 views, which is on a channel where every video has like 150,000 views. And it wasn't demonetized. It wasn't like copyright struck. All the signs pointed to it being fine. I put my work into it. People that watched it liked it, but it got less than 10% of the views of any other video that on the channel so far. Like, it's not, when people think about something performing less or more than something else, they often think about it in terms of like, oh man, it just did a bit worse. Like, you usually think like 20% worse, 30% worse. Like, oh yeah, that one fell behind a bit for some reason, huh? You don't really expect it to be an order of magnitude. And when that's the amount of work you put in for months, that can be stressful in its own right. So, this is what I mean when I say that, like, I don't experience life the way normal people do, because I don't have shifts that start at exactly this time and end at exactly this time. And I don't have a fixed income per hour or month or whatever, salary or hourly. Instead, I can make my own schedule, which is good in that I can be free for stuff if I want to be, and it's bad in that that tree's just floating up there. And it's bad in that I can do what most YouTubers do, which is that just means you work even more than most people because you just always are working because you kind of enjoy it. So it's like better than other jobs, but also it's sucking up your entire life because you're always doing it all the time. So I both do and don't know the normal life of somebody that's like working like an hourly job, for example. But it does mean that I'm always working. But I got a little off topic here from the original thing because I got in the side topic of like focusing on that stuff too much, comparing myself. But there is a trap in having to work all the time, in that you're given a short-term reward structure that you're stuck with all the time, And by reward structure, I often mean like it's more like a gun to the head in terms of like people just having to survive and pay rent and everything and pay medical insurance and pay for food and so on. We have to work every day for the immediate future goals. And so this leads to the obfuscation of long-term goals, both like financially, like are you saving for retirement, or are you making equity or whatever the fuck, but also like personal goals, like are you the person you want to be? Is this the life you want to have? And it's literally ticking down at all times. You are always coming closer to death every second, and that's an existential nightmare to process sometimes, because your daily work struggle is so good at obscuring your long-term goals that you don't... It's so easy to get caught up in those details. And then before you know it, it's another decade. And then and then you're struggling to sleep at night because is this it? Is this your one chance? Is this what you want it to be? Kind of stuff. I experience a little version of that in that I have to juggle my 2 channels because this channel makes my living, which is not a ton, but it's something. And my other channel is the one where I have like long-term creative goals and I'm trying to make its own thing. And that stuff's not immune to the incentives of profit and making a living or numbers and whatnot, as I just talked about with the previous thing, where I think about like one video performing this way versus the other and so on, and how distressing it can be to realize that your work went into something that didn't go anywhere. But like I lost all of 2023 in the process of like, one, struggling creatively, but also having to keep up with this channel, and also trying to like struggle with what might be undiagnosed ADHD or something, and you just have a whole year go by. And then on top of that, it was like the year after the one where I came out, so there's this additional question of like, am I meeting like my romantic goals? Am I meeting enough new people? Am I on a trajectory towards having like some kind of happy domestic life with somebody, and not just being in this one room making computer videos for people all day? And overall, 2023 was a very frustrating year because of the fact that like, yeah, I was working all the time, but I don't know if I was bettering myself. And it's easy to get trapped and then have to reassess and worry about these things. Because yeah, like, I didn't make progress at exercising goals. I wasn't like learning how to cook. I wasn't dating. I wasn't and like, even on the creative side, I finished one video essay, and it was it's one of the shortest ones. And that was all and I had so many other things that I was working on that year for that channel too, and then that just didn't come into fruition yet. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to work all the time as a species and then have to live with your life afterwards. Not really afterwards so much, but like after each day. But it's also a struggle in like, because that's what we're doing all the time, we measure our self-worth in these kinds of terms. There might even be a thing to point at with the way that like I am subconsciously looking at the big tall building here that itself is a big work of art / construct, centerpiece to this whole thing that somebody made, because this is the thing that inspires awe or attracts attention, and it's somebody else's great work. So me subconsciously looking at that and not like a crab might be a little bit of subconscious stuff to deal with there too. But it is sad in its own way that when we fail at professional goals, we still measure ourselves by them as if that's why we're alive. And that's its own problem. But anyway, maybe we've been on this one long enough.
The history of our species has been defined by material struggles. Every war, every revolution in the end came down not to ideology, but to the distribution of resources. Our history is the history of struggle. The merchant against the king, the worker against the factory owner, the citizen against the mayor. We have always known that the pursuit of material wealth is spiritually hollow, and yet thousands of generations have been forced by material necessity to dedicate their lives to it. We are the children of hunger and thirst, but empire is no more. We have beaten our swords into plowshares, and the lion and the wolf have ceased. All are rich, and wealth is no more. So, what happens next? What do we create? What do we become when we are no longer driven by material necessity? The ancient mystics believed that spirituality required poverty. But I believe that it is only in universal prosperity that it may truly begin. Now comes the age of miracles.
This is like simultaneously what... It's simultaneously essentially this story's revolutionary message and what makes these characters so deeply alien is that they've never lived under capitalism. Like they look at us and they're confused by our behavior or our history or even processing what we did because they can't really conceive what it's like to be in capitalism or feudalism or any other previous element that controlled human labor, because they live in a post-scarcity society, and not because humanity overcame scarcity or artificial scarcity for that matter, but because they just died and made new creatures that have completely different needs, and that's depressing. This is the uplifting setting about beautiful. This is the beautiful uplifting setting, right? But like, the way it got there is so fucking depressing because humanity just died and was replaced by different creatures that don't follow the same rules and did not have to actually learn and grow and progress from humanity. They didn't have to overcome anything, really. Like, they had to solve a bunch of puzzles. It's kind of condescending, honestly, that these people exist the way they do, and that's their big deal. They solved a bunch of puzzles and had the existential crisis of, am I a real human? Am I a man or not? I don't know. And then they popped out into this world and built a bunch of buildings, and then they're like, I don't know, man, am I a human now? And they're ruled by this endless, sad existential crisis that they always have about their identity. But also, like, they don't have any of the real problems humans had. And they're not looking for them, really, because that would suck. But it makes their whole existence, like, strange and kind of condescending, yeah. It's trite by comparison. Anyways, look at this level.